everybody, welcome back to the channel, to Susie's Sweet Treats. Today we are making easy blender lemon bread. It is one of the quickest recipes, kind of like my fudgy brownies. Again, welcome back. Lemon bread. Come along, let's go get baking. Alright, so we're going to get started with making this easy blender lemon bread. First thing we've got to do is get our blender out. I'm actually going to double this batch, but I have to do it in single batches so it'll all fit into the blender. So first things first is we're going to put all of our quote-unquote wet ingredients into the blender. So it's one whole seedless lemon that has been washed. It's quartered and the seeds are removed. Somehow I picked up a bag of lemons this time and they were seedless, so I don't need to worry about seeding my lemon. But we do have it quartered and it goes all into the blender just like that. The next one is the eggs, and it's 4 eggs that are at room temperature. I pre-crack them into a separate container so that I know that there's no bad eggs and no shells going into my batter. So those go in. The next is olive oil. It's 3/4 of a cup of olive oil. And this is just plain olive oil. It's not extra virgin, but 3/4 of a cup. Goes in. The next step is the sugar, and it is 1 1/4 cup of sugar. And again, I have to half the recipe, so I have to think about this. We'll put in, that's a half. So that's a cup, and then 1/4. All right. So that's the sugar. Then sour cream, and it calls for 1/4 cup of sour cream. That goes in. Perfect. And then the vanilla extract is going in, and it's 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And I learned this week is this long oblong side is for the liquid measurements and the round side is for your dry measurements. So that's something that I learned. So now we're going to process this until the mixture is smooth. So let's put the lid on. We are plugged in and we're going to mix it until it's smooth. See what we look like. That looks really good. With that lemon, it smells amazing. Okay. So now we're going to add in our dry ingredients. So for the dry ingredients, it's 2 cups of flour, of course, we should always be spooning the flour into the cup unless it tells you otherwise. And that way you're not adding too much flour into your batter. 1, 2, so after the flour is going to be the baking powder. So again, baking powder, and it's a total of 3 teaspoons. So we're using the round end, so we're not dipping the vanilla side into the baking powder. So that's 3 in. And then it's going to be a half a teaspoon of salt. And then again, the lid goes on. And now we're just going to pulse this just a few times until the dry ingredients are incorporated into the wet ingredients. We're not going to overmix it. Let me go ahead and scrape down the sides a little now that we have, that way the flour that's stuck to the sides can get incorporated into the batter. Let's pulse it maybe 1, maybe 2 more times. All right. So now that that's been pulsed, we're going to pour the batter into a prepared pan. So give me a quick second and I'll be right back with the prepared pans. All right, so here's the next batch. So we'll go ahead and get this poured in. Alright, so with that, these are going to go into a preheated 350 degree oven for about 50 to 55 minutes until the toothpick inserted comes out clean or the tops are golden brown, and the tops are golden brown. So let me get these into the oven. My oven's been preheated. Again, 350 degrees, about 50 to 55 minutes. Once they're done, I'll bring you back. Alright, the lemon bread is out of the oven. In my oven, it took probably about an hour and 7 minutes to bake completely. Toothpick came out clean. The tops are nice and golden brown. So now we're going to let this cool in the pans for about 10 minutes. And then after that 10 minutes, we'll come back, we'll turn them out onto the wire rack and let them finish cooling, and then we'll get the glaze made. So once they're done and cooled, I'll bring you back to show you the glaze. Alright, the breads have cooled. So now we're ready to make the glaze. So the glaze is 2 cups of powdered sugar. And I loosely measure this. I don't make it a complete science. I'm actually going to do a cup and a half, just because it seems like a lot. And then it calls for 2 to 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. If you roll your lemons, it helps release the juice. And again, these ones are seedless, so you don't have to worry about the seeds. And we're just gonna squeeze the lemon right into our sugar. Stir it around to see. And again, we're working on getting a glaze, so you want it liquidy, not stiff like a frosting. See where we're at on this. So we're getting there. That looks good, so it's going to be able to drizzle. While you're still on your wire rack, if you put something underneath your wire rack, like a piece of parchment paper, could be saran wrap, could be a piece of aluminum foil, it helps with your cleanup so you're not drizzling all onto your counter. And then we're just going to take and drizzle over the top. For the second loaf. To the other. We're just dividing out the glaze between the 2 loaves. There you go, your lemon blender bread. All right, so here we are. It's complete. I was able to make a slice. We got the glaze on it. Just smell it, lemony, citrus, absolutely amazing. Again, easy blender lemon bread. Let's go ahead and take a bite, see what it's all about. Lemony, moist, definitely a keeper for trying. Again, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that like button. Leave me a comment. Let me know what else you'd like to see. And continue to follow and see what else we come up with to bake.